But again, if you just joined, man, drop a black card if you're sick and tired. But I tried to avoid the George Floyd video, and I happened to catch it on CNN. I was watching CNN. You know, they gave the message, man, too graphic for TV, and I finally saw it. And when I saw it, I was just kind of at a loss for words because we've seen this happen over and over again. But it's just, I wouldn't say it's worse, but there's just something about this one that's just different. It feel different, man. So everybody's been going through emotions. We've seen we thought Minnesota was white, huh? We thought Minnesota was white. Man, Minnesota didn't cut up. And it's just been kind of riots and protesting all around the United States. And we're going to get into that. But it's three things I want to talk about first. Before I actually bring some people on. I always kind of go with like a little intro monologue. And number one, the first thing I want to tell you guys who watching is unplug. Like, unplug and don't feel ashamed or feel bad about unplugging. Like, y'all, you need to take breaks from this shit that's going on in the world. This shit can affect your mental health. It can have you in a depressed mood all day because we seeing stuff, like, especially when you're seeing something and you don't know how it's going to change. Like, just watching it and seeing it on news over and over again, being on your timeline and just seeing different things happen, man, and just kind of just feeling like, how can I help? And you don't know how to do something that can affect you. So unplug. I'm not saying you even have to take a whole day off. I like to check in the morning, check later on in the evening, and kind of find other things to do between the day. Check in and just kind of be updated, but I don't want to be stuck on it because being stuck on it, it can really mess you up. So it's okay to unplug, and I encourage you guys to unplug, and don't feel bad that you're doing it as well. Number two, I think 2 and 3 kind of go together. Y'all, and I want y'all to, if you got a friend, tell them this. Y'all, it's so okay. It's so okay to have a difference of opinion than other people. It's okay for other people to have a difference of opinion than you. Now, that can change in different facts. Like, we can have the same common goal. And I feel like a lot of people in the black community have the same common goal, right? But people have different ways to achieve the goal. And I'm seeing a lot that when people don't, and this goes with my Twitter thugs, I'm seeing a lot, if you don't have the same mindset as me, I'm saying, not using me as an example. I'm saying a lot of people use that. If you don't have the same mindset as me, you're wrong. Like, I want to say this for my topics, but y'all, it's okay for people to not feel comfortable with the violent protests. It's okay. I don't even know 100%. I don't even know how I feel about them. I'm not against them, totally. But I don't know if it necessarily is gonna work. Like, I don't know. But I think when you're doing it, be smart, and it's good to say, hey, okay, don't be judgmental of the other way. Don't be judgmental of the other way. But don't look down upon somebody as well because they think differently than you. Miracle said something that's key. Man, it's important. Everybody has a role to play in this. Everybody has a role to play. Like, we need people who can protest. We need protesters. But we also need people behind the scenes. We need people planning. We need people reading. We need people educating themselves so they can educate others. Mocha, you said something so key that I also want to address. It's okay to differ in opinion. It's okay. It ain't okay to feel Black Lives Not important. I totally agree with that. I'm gonna get into this a little bit more later, and I wasn't gonna bring this up yet, but delivery is important. Delivery is so important. I'm seeing a lot of people get canceled or getting attacked because delivery is off. So I'm gonna say something some of y'all are not gonna agree with, but I believe this. A couple days ago, Madonna was trending. for putting her son dancing to They Don't Really Care About Us by Michael Jackson on the internet. Now, I think the delivery was horrible, but I truly don't think she had the wrong intentions. From seeing the stuff that Madonna has done the past, pretty much my lifetime, and seeing the I don't think her intentions were, let me let my black child look like a fool. But I think sometimes our delivery is wrong. I'm seeing a lot of people deliveries off. A lot of people didn't like what Lil Wayne said. I think Lil Wayne delivery was horrible. But at the end of the day, was he truly wrong with what he said? Because I think when he said at the beginning of the statement something to like, I blame ourselves. And I think that's when people checked out. When he said, I blame us. But if you listen further, he's saying, man, some people, for example, go protest and then the next day do nothing. Protest, the next day do anything. And he was saying, like, we need people who's going to educate themselves and do more than just that day. Because he was like, if you do something, just doing something that day and don't do nothing else, then why would you even do it at all? Which I don't totally agree with that, but I agree with the part that we need to educate ourselves, right? And I think what's also true about this, I'm shout out to the 18 people in here, man. I didn't think that many people was going to be in here. If y'all didn't see Madonna, man, her son was dancing to the Michael Jackson song. Horrible delivery, but I think her intentions were well. Another thing, man, Twitter sucks. Twitter sucks. Twitter sucks, man. If you want to save yourself some time, don't even get on Twitter. Or what I do is I have a Twitter account that no one knows about. And it's strictly a feed of news sources, musical artists I might like to see when they might drop something, sports news, entertainment news. It's strictly kind of like a news base that I don't see nobody opinion on anything. It's just news information. And it's good because I can get on there, see what I need to see, and get off. I don't gotta see, because people suck. People got some bad opinions. People have some horrible opinions. I've seen a lot of people like, okay, I think it's okay for if somebody in here is like, man, I'm not totally for the violent protest, y'all. I think we can do it another way. Man, Twitter would kill you. Twitter would light you up. I see people on Twitter. And I wanted some of them people. I put this on Twitter on purpose because I wanted some of those people who do all that talking shit on Twitter. But I know for a fact that they can't have a conversation like this. People hide behind them characters, boy. But they can't have a conversation and address their thoughts in real life. But I just think, man, I can't be down on you if you don't think the protesting is violent protest is bad. I mean, if you don't think it's good, I can't get down on you because you feel that way. I also can't get mad at the looters if I'm getting the hookup at the Walmart self-checkout. Let's keep it a buck. Some of us was like looking at the looters like, man, they doing too much. But shit, we slide a couple extra things in our Walmart checkout bag. Let's keep it a buck. Let's be honest. The mic is, shut up, dude, because it's not really on. I'm just saying, let's be honest with ourselves, man. But yeah, I want to ask this question, a set the mood question, because I feel like we still deserve a set the mood question. No one does that but you, Myron. You're a damn lie. You are, that is crazy if you think I'm the only one who does that at Walmart. Majority of the people here do that at Walmart. You are crazy if you think that. But anyway, my set the mood question is this week for those who are just joining the conversation, man. I do not got this on Do Not Disturb. What's up, man? Damn big bro. What's up, Ken, man? Love you, dog. I can scan something, but it don't be that item. It be like that sometimes. I just believe that the same energy they talk about protesting, they can use the energy to talk about niggas dying. I agree, man. I agree. So my set the mood question is this. How do you, I want somebody, if you willing to join the live, give me some advice and other people in here some advice. Do the flame emoji. How do you have the conversation with your white friend? Some of you guys have them. I have a few. I have some who are like with it already. It's not a conversation that necessarily needs to be had, but how do you, as a Black American, have the conversation with your white friend? I want to know from y'all perspective. I really want to, get some. I've been running with my wife's stepmama. I kind of want to get some of y'all advice because I feel like we always say, well, we need to be educating but we want to stand up. We want you to be standing up with us. But truthfully, if you're not raised with that, somebody has to educate you. I mean, you can do your own research, but I think it's necessary for us to do that. It's not easy to just be real about it. I'm gonna add you. It's important to have those conversations, because I feel like it's not easy. I do agree with that. I feel like it's not an easy conversation, but I feel like it's a conversation that many of us, many of us, we always say, man, we want our people on the front lines, but how do we talk to them and get them there? How do we educate them? What do we say? What did Keita say? I don't have white friends. We all have a few. I don't have a close one, but I've seen several I've been cool with in the past standing up, and it makes me proud to know that they care. You sleep if you don't have white friends. I agree. I think it's good to have a variety of friends. I only speak out to white friends, but luckily they speak out often. Again, so it's easy to guilt trip them into buying shit for. Shut up, Lecon. Okay, let's add. I do want to add her first, and then I'm gonna add you, Chanel. But yeah, I think that's a healthy conversation to have because some people truly don't know even how that conversation happens. The question is, how do you have the conversation? How do you have the conversation about what's going on with your white friends? How do you, if you add me out, you too young, dude. I think that's an important question to have with things going on. What's up, Chanel? Friend? How you doing, bro?
What's down?
Okay, so first off, though, before I ask you what I want to ask you, man, you created the song Black in what 2016?
2016, yeah.
How do you feel that? Are you? Does it hurt to have that song still be relevant today? 4 years later?
So I'm glad you asked me that. So, the song Black that I made was like one of the best songs that I made, but it was like one of the toughest songs that I made.
Right.
Because it discusses like things from a different perspective, from the government perspective, from the police perspective, and from my perspective. The fact that that song still has like 100% relevance to this day, that bothers me. Like, it's to the point to where like I wish I didn't have to repost that song. Like, I made that song 4 years ago.
Right.
I made that song because a man by the name of Alton Sterling, well, not even Alton Sterling. Alton Sterling happened after. It was Mike Brown at the time.
Right.
It was Mike Brown.
And I don't think Alton Sterling is one of the names in the song.
Yeah. Because I would remix it when I was on the stage. And when I was on the stage in BR, I would throw his name in there. Like, the fact that, like, for those of y'all who don't know, I made a song called Black. It talks about racial injustice. It talks about it from multiple perspectives. Y'all go check it out. But I posted it on Twitter, and somebody came in my DMs like, "Yo, I don't feel like this is the time for you to be trying to get clout from your music." I'm like, to keep it a bean, 10 people was in my either text messages or DMs, you included, that told me to post it. So it's like, I'm not looking for that. It's just the fact that along with, and then I'm gonna kind of tie this into the Lil Wayne thing. Like, I have somewhat of a platform, why not use it to bring awareness about what's going on? I thought that's what you're supposed to use your platform for. Right. Like, that's what you're supposed to bring awareness about. So, but to your question, as far as the white friends.
But wait, before you get to that, bro, I do want to say, bro, like, I was listening to it the other day, and I was just like, damn, because you say names at the end of the song, and it's crazy how we can replace all those names, bro.
Right.
We can truly replace every name you said in that song and put with a new name, and that shit's sad, dog.
We can replace it with just the happenings of the last 72 hours.
That's true.
Like they had a dude that died yesterday in Buckhead. Like I live in Atlanta.
Daniel is, I don't know if that was Daniel McAtry, but I know a couple of other people as well. Like just of stuff that's been going on.
Bro, like this is the, and you know what, this is the sad, real ass truth, because you know I don't hold nothing back.
Real.
The fact that even in my head, me as an African American male, even in my head, like the names that they keep stacking on top of each other, and it's like I'm starting to forget about the Tamir Rices,
Right.
the Alton Sterlings, because so many more names are piling on top of that. Like that's the thing that frustrates me, is it's becoming normalized. But I think the reason why this one hit its peak is because we saw the dude, we saw the look on his face. The look on his face was like, I'm secure. I know that nothing's gonna happen to me, and I'm still gonna do it. There was no fucking reason why that man should have kept his knee on that man's neck. Like I feel like that was over the top.
Bro, that shit heartbreaking. But like again, like I knew about the incident for days before I actually even saw the video. I didn't try to see the video.
Right.
I just happened to be watching CNN, and when I saw it, I'm like, this man is literally begging for his life.
Right.
Begging. And people piss me off saying like, why y'all didn't help him? Why y'all recording it? Well, one, shit, they could have been killed. So
correct.
I don't think that's the right mind. Like somebody better save me, man. Then we might have a couple.
Right. We might have some more hashtags. That's crazy. But bruh, okay, so I'm kind of bouncing around. So let me answer your question as far as the white friend.
Okay, so yeah, for those who just tuning in, man, the question was, how do you have that conversation with your white friends about what's going on, and you know how they can help, or just informing them about, you know, injustice and stuff like that?
I feel like Rihanna kind of put it best. So Rihanna, when she accepted that award, I don't know where that was, but she accepted the award. She said, "How many of y'all have white friends?" And then people applauded. How many white friends have black friends? People applauded. She said, "You love them, you care about them. Well, this is your fight too." Because at the end of the day, I feel like this is not a gray area topic. This is not a gray area topic. Either you with it, either you with us, or you not. But what y'all got to understand is it's okay to differentiate from opinions. It's okay for people to have opinions about looting and whatever they want to have opinions about. But it is not okay for you to not have a stance on, do people who look like us matter?
Right.
That ain't okay. That's not okay. Because I be damned if my white friends don't care enough to speak out about some of this injustice. I don't care if it's not happening to you. If you are my friend and you see how this affects me, if you are not assisting me in projecting this injustice to everybody else widespread,
right,
then you are not my friend.
You're not.
You are not. No matter how you feel, no matter how uncomfortable it might be, at the end of the day, there's right and there is wrong. We need as much attention as possible to this, to evoke some type of positive change, some type of true change. And I kind of segue that into another point. People are getting mad at the looting. Like, y'all don't have to burn down the buildings. Like, if people go through their history, the American Revolution was an uprising of the minority who uprose and took over England with the allies of other people, France, Spain, things of that nature, in order for us, well, not us, in order for America to gain independence.
Right.
Confederacy against the Union, the Civil War.
I mean, to be honest with you,
it's
bro,
the same thing. There is always an uprising in which things get burned down to the ground,
right,
in which people's feathers are ruffled. It's always how they spit on Jesus. Like, come on.
Hey, I don't want to stop you, bro, but I'm personally indifferent about the looting, but I'm gonna say, well, I'm not against it. I'm not looking down upon it. I just think of, like, I kind of do go to that mindset of, when to me, I look at like when you do it to a black business, it's like those people who do it there clearly just doing this just to do it because if you black anyway, I know this spot. Okay, I know not to mess with this spot. Like, cool, let me hit this next one. And then I think to some of it is we got to realize too, like some of these places, yeah, they can. We think of the mindset, yeah, they can rebuild, but what about the black person who worked at some of these places? This is my mindset. We got black people who do work at some of these places. So now that they're looted, for example, the mall closed and Target closed today. I know some people, even though Target is a huge company, I do know some people who work at Target. So that young black boy can't get his hours today because they had to close early. So that just is my mindset on some of it. Not saying, oh, don't do it, because again, they got it. If it happened, it happened. But I do think of the mindset like, okay, I think Barack Obama said, man, they looted one town where it was the only grocery store. Now they don't have no grocery store in that town. Right. So I think of it of that nature. Like I think we just got to do stuff with a purpose. But again, I'm not one who, just because I don't necessarily all the way agree with it, it's not me saying if it shit. They got it. They can shake back.
And I think Killer Mike articulated this the best. A lot of the people who are looting and burning things down, they don't know what else to do because there's no perfect formula for this. We take a knee, it's a problem. Oh, it's the flag and the military. Even though if you want to talk about disrespecting the flag, the NFL hangs a flag vertical, which is disrespectful to the flag code in a certain article of the flag. That's a whole different story. But anyway, the NFL we take a knee, we disrespecting the military and the flag. We're looting, now we're disrespect. I mean, I understand looting is disrespect, but at the end of the day, you gonna feel us. You gonna feel us. We like, bruh, like it happens over and over, and it's like Killer Mike said, and I quote, and we watch it all the time like murder porn over and over and over again. And it starts to feel like it's being normalized. So like now it's to the fact this is what happened. Now it's like, what are we gonna do about it? So, like Killer Mike said, are you registered to vote?
But that be my mindset, bro. And I was talking to Miles is in here. I was talking to Miles about this yesterday, man. That's why I think it's so important about voting for the presidential election. But I remember like those little when I was growing up, my mom and them would get like a little thing in the mail about the district attorney vote and stuff like that. You got it, just put it to the side. Right. But we gotta start thinking about those. We can't just go when it's the presidential election. We gotta go when it's for judges, when it's for senators, when it's for the mayor. Like we gotta go on all these different levels. And what Miles was saying, like why this election is so important is because people think about Biden and Biden has bad things, Trump, but he was like, man, the president can put in judges and they're there forever. They can form policy, and those judges are there until they die or say, all right, I'm finally done. And I think too many of us, and this is not me looking down on protesters, because I feel like we need everybody on all fronts. But I think we also got to have the people who are learning these other things, who can educate the protest. So if I'm not out protesting, maybe I learn something that I can bring to somebody who don't know this. We got to start putting everybody on game about the things that's going on, man. I think we need people in all types of fronts.
Right. But that's only going to happen. The thing that frustrates me is I'm literally watching blacks debating blacks on a stance about discrimination against blacks. Like, if that ain't the dumbest shit in the world, like, I literally see girls arguing with each other on Twitter about, oh, well, they were looting to start this, but they shouldn't be looting, blah, blah. It's like we getting so, like, it's like us as a black culture, we need to stop getting so sidetracked against each other. And because if we unify all of our focus on this one thing, then we can move mountains, bro. Like,
but see, and I tweeted that the other day, bro. Like, we do have this. I'm gonna add you, Miles. But we have this mindset in the black
community. Miles, shut your whole ass up.
We have this mindset in the black community where we have a my way or the highway. So it's hard for us to be unified because I feel like, shoot, if your way not mine. Oh, let me. Oh man, this nigga Chanel tripping, man.
Right.
You're canceled. I'm gonna cancel you. You
Right.
canceled, bro, because your way is not different from mine. So,
Right.
and I've been seeing a lot of that. I think personally, like with the Desi Banks stuff, I, 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 you know, he didn't have to say this is wrong, but at the same time, though, like
You got to read the room, though. You got to read
you
the
do.
room.
I
You
think,
got to
but see,
read the room.
this goes into what I say all the time, bro. I say this all the time. Then I'm gonna add miles. I'm gonna put you back on though, but I'm gonna add miles. But I say this all the time, bro. Sometimes it's just best to not say anything at all,
Right.
or find a clever way to say it. For example, I was saying, I just say if I'm somebody, a celebrity or somebody, and I want to speak out, but I don't know what to say, man. It's plenty of people, like for example, Killer Mike. I could just repost what Killer Mike said and put R.I.P. George Floyd, just Black Lives Matter, and boom,
Facts.
my statement is made through this statement. But
Facts.
sometimes we get in our own way trying to do so, man. And I think we have our picks and chooses. I think because some stuff I've seen certain celebrities say, I seen Barack Obama kind of say the same thing today, and because Barack is so loved, he didn't get canceled. But I seen some people get canceled for saying basically the same thing he said.
I mean, it's all about what you say. The last thing I'm gonna say, just the last thing I'm gonna say, is people, we got to think before we act. That's all I'm gonna say. We gotta think before we act, because there's a lot of people that are just doing and they don't even know why they're doing what they're doing. We gotta think before we act.
We gotta have a purpose, bro. It gotta be purpose behind what we're doing. So, but stay on, bro. I'm gonna ask you back. I appreciate you, dog.
All right,
don't say what's good, Miles.
What's going on, Myron? Fuck you, Chanel.
What's up, man? Again, y'all, man. Send y'all a lot of somebody, man. Keep the conversation going. Add more people to the conversation. Miles, man. We had our conversation. Yesterday. We talked about a lot, bro. But join it. Just jump in, man. I know you heard some stuff, and you just.
I wanted to. I'll piggyback on some of the stuff I've said. You know what Chanel said, and some of the stuff people said in the comments. You can't have nuanced conversation on social media. Like, it's not possible. Like, everything that we talking about is complex. It's long-winded. There's layers, and to try to have that out in a tweet is just like, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? Like, you can't cover all that in a tweet, because there's a whole bunch that needs to be said. And part of another thing that Chanel said I thought was important, we talk about the riots and people's opinion, whether you should riot, whether you should loot, whether you should cause disruption. I think you need disruption, because that is what people hear. That is what white people hear. But you have to have disruption with structure.
Right.
Like, you can't go out here and express that you're mad. Like, we've been mad. We've been mad your whole life, my whole life, my parents' whole life, grandparents' whole life. You need to have structure. And this is a unique opportunity, because we have everything popping off simultaneously. And you have the opportunity now, okay, come with the list of demands. Like the protest they had in Baton Rouge the other day, they laid out 10 actionable items. This is what we want. This is what we're going to demand. This is what we're going to hold you accountable to. Because if not, you can't move the ball forward. You just talking in circles. You just say you mad, you cause a ruckus, then you go back to what we're doing. So I think the disruption is necessary, and I'm with you on, spare Black businesses, keep it out of our communities to the best that you can, because like you said, you disenfranchising the already disenfranchised people. You putting them behind the bar. That's a big part why people go commit crime, because they have to. Ain't nobody just want to go out here and put their lives at risk and do illegal shit. But you feel like, oh, I don't have an opportunity any other way. I got to go get mine. And talking about education and how you talk to your white friends and where we go, this is a war that's being fought on so many different fronts. Like,
it is.
Like, you look at education. I'm not from here. I'm from Slidell down in St. Tammany Parish, one of the most conservative parishes in the state.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, but
I had my first Black teacher came in 6th grade. I had none in high school. I had one in undergrad. Obviously, I'm full of now at Lawson or at Southern. But you look at who's teaching. History is being pushed with a narrative because you don't have teachers of other backgrounds. And that means, okay, you don't have to go out and be the president. You don't have to go out there and be a lawyer. You can be a teacher. You can be on the school board and implement policy change that way. You can be a principal. Like, there's a whole bunch of fronts to talk about. You got to look at, like, when you talk about policing, when people talking about policing, I'm very wary of fuck every cop. Because I personally believe every institution is a wash. Every one of these institutions is a wash. It's designed against people of color. Because and part of the reason it's able to stay that way, we can't infiltrate. You can't infiltrate and make change. You can't get to these prominent positions. You get to a prominent position, you need to appoint somebody there. You know, it's called nepotism, but you need to have it in certain places. You get up there, you look at like the police. You look at everything with just policing. You look at the training. One of my white friends, he was my roommate freshman year in college. He asked me, we were talking about, you know, fixes, like just immediate fixes, and he was like, Miles, you in law school, that's 3.5 to 4 years. Your police get what, 4 months of basic training and a little bit of time on patrol. How that work?
I saw somebody else tweet that too. Like cops, it takes no time to, you know, for that versus for some of these other things, like, it takes you years.
I was looking at like in Louisiana's policy, because Governor Edwards tried to do a little bit of reform. Carlton helped him with that. Some other people I'm friends with, and they put some more training guidelines in. But it's like, you have to have a college transcript. Why don't you have to have a degree of some sort? Even if it's an associate degree. You're gonna get your police, get an associate degree, and pay for sociology classes, psychology classes, African American studies. Look at how your policing disproportionately affects those environments.
I would love to know, like, how, like, I mean, I don't know if it's a way to look it up, but like, what is the training that goes through with being a cop, and how are they vetted? Because, well, no, I know how they vet.
All you gotta do, the vetting process. Like, the vetting process is bullshit.
Because Miles, I've been called for a police job. Now, I've been called as an interview as somebody's character. Like, I know who the person was, and they was a good person, but I could have, if it's my person, if it was my dog or somebody, I could have just said, man, yeah, this person is
I would assume, I'm not a cop, so I can't speak to it, but I would assume they probably have an interview panel, and then you have references. But the panel, the references might be whoever, but I bet you your panel don't have women on the panel. I bet you don't have a lot of women. I bet you don't have minorities. I bet you don't have people of different backgrounds, different cultural upbringings. Like, that's the kind of shit we got to look at. And you talked about voting, and I know I'm going all over the place, but there's a lot of things to touch on.
It is.
Like you said,
but Miles, before you go, though, Miles, I do want to mention something Danae said in the comments, because it stuck with me, and then I want to ask you your point on this, something else I saw in the comments. Number one, I never really thought about the fact that if you were made by social media, I guess that's why people cancel you so quick. Yeah, I can get that, but I'm gonna get to the cancel culture later because I think it's stupid. But somebody said vote for Biden or make another party. We're seeing how the president and the presidential candidate are both handling the things that are going on. And I know me and you talked about, you know, this Biden versus Trump thing. But if you want to talk on that right quick.
Well, I'm gonna bounce on a little bit what you said with the social media and entertainment. I'm gonna go to Biden. Like, this is just my 2 cents. Man, being an entertainer, being famous don't make you no leader. You got people out here with all these followers, don't know what the hell they talking about. They just talking. You have a big platform. I don't have to care what Lil Wayne says. I don't have to care what Nas says. I don't have to care what Jay-Z says. I don't have to care what Diddy says. Yo, you made a lot of money and you're successful at your craft. But you being successful at your craft doesn't make you socialized to speak on something else.
But you know what the tricky part comes into that.
Hold on, Myron. Because, like, all right, you look at black history, right? Our culture is the only culture where the entertainers have been pushed in the position of leadership. Once upon a time, it had to be, because we couldn't get people in certain positions of influence. And to some extent, that's still true. But you don't have to go out and make LeBron James, and he does great, by the way, but you don't have to go out and make LeBron James the man. Like, you got people in your local legislature or in your local city council who are important, who what True. They say, not just what they say is important, but they've worked like that's their craft. The same way LeBron is a basketball player, and that's his craft.
Right.
Not that he's not well versed, but this is them people's craft. They can see how it's going to be implemented and executed. You got to look at that, bro. I'm not saying like don't admire and respect these people and value what they say. Like one of the big entertainers I follow Ice Cube. Ice Cube been active and talking for a long time. I found where he really generally knows what he's talking about. He's aggressive, he's assertive, but he makes sense. The logic with it, but you also see the positions he's coming from. And I feel like you look at all these people and you prop them up, and like, yeah, it makes me feel good to see that someone I think is famous advocating for what I believe in. But if you don't know what he's talking about, hey, bro.
But see, that's when I go.
I saw Natalie say that sometimes it's okay to be quiet.
I say that's what I go by all the time, Miles. But I say it's kind of a slippery slope with it, because on one hand, I'm like, I agree. Like, we shouldn't expect these celebrities who are to speak out. But sometimes it sucks because some of them have huge platforms. For example, like Diddy whether we like it or not, he has such a huge platform. So if he listen, wait, when he missteps, it looked bad because of he's one of them people. He's one of them people, which I don't feel this should be right, Miles, but he's one of those people like LeBron James is one of those who the other side feels like speaks for all of us. So when they do make some of these, and that's not right.
No, here's my challenge, Myron. Your Diddy with all his reach, right? You know what Diddy could easily do? Hey, this person right here, this local person, this person in Delaware, this person, Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, whoever. Hey, follow this person. Give this person the attention. I think this person here has my attention. I think what they're saying is worth something. Push them.
I agree. No.
I follow so many people on social media. Or like not even like I believe, but I'll go check them out sometimes based on a cosign, just like in the entertainment industry.
But that goes to what I said about Killer Mike, though, Miles. That goes to what I said, like with what I was saying about if I don't know something, like kind of just exactly what you said. I could use somebody who I know is knowledgeable to get the message that I'm trying to across. But it does suck in a sense where we do have some of these celebrities, because you kind of feel like, everybody don't need to speak out. But when they do, you kind of want them to say the right thing because you know what it's going to do to the masses.
I was going to get to the Biden-Trump part that you talked about, and I know I went long-winded there, but I feel like that needed to be said.
Oh, no. And I'm going to talk about y'all boy Kanye in a second, but I'll get to that after Biden. And Trump.
With Biden, I know Biden's comments a couple of weeks ago.
We talked about this too.
I know Biden's comments riled up a lot of people, and they felt the kind of way, and this, that, and the third. And people, I think you said that some people are suggesting whether we should start on a third party, right?
Somebody said it in the comments.
I don't think a third party can be successful on a third party will take a long time to get there. Because you have third parties, fourth parties, fifth parties, and you have a majority of people, like just the money behind politics and that kind of outreach is tough. Not saying it's impossible, but that's tough. But when it comes to Biden and Trump, man, like that last election cycle, man, I'm choosing between two evils. Bernie's going, I don't believe in nobody. That's bullshit, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. That's bullshit. Because the alternative, like a big part, I feel like Hillary lost. She's a woman, and she was held accountable for stuff that Bill did, whatever. But my thing is this: if I'm choosing between option A and option B, option A is me getting shot, and option B is me getting punched in the face. I don't like what you're telling me. I'm gonna have to work a little bit harder. Give me the less difficult option.
Give me the punch.
And
give me the less.
Hillary was gonna be a great president or even a good one, but damn, you see this? Like,
but that goes to
black people out here. Oh, you ain't. We have friends, Myron, who get on social. One guy who you worked with once upon a time, who be going real hard for candidate and be out here, this is that, and third. Look, bro, I respect what you're saying. The man that you want ain't there. I need you to shut the hell up and understand we got to adjust the fight. The man that you want ain't there. Okay, get the guy that we have to have in office, and then we can start pushing some other stuff.
And that goes into what and I agree with what you said. And that goes into what I was saying. I've been saying this a lot lately, man. I feel like Biden, because my brother tried to tell me this. My brother was like, man, Biden got some bad stuff about him too. I said, yeah, but like everybody has some bad shit. Everybody. But I look at it like this, man. If Biden entered the room, I feel like from seeing him, from hearing him talk, and just from what I know about him, I know he know he's not the smartest person in the room. And I feel like when you know you're not the smartest person in the room, like you are willing to get advice from other people.
It's not even just that.
Trump. Wait. Let me finish though. Let me finish.
Yeah.
I feel like Trump is never going to feel that way. And when you have that type of person in the let alone in the presidential seat, it's destruction as we're seeing for the nation. So
you just look at Trump. Aside from feeling like the smartest person in the room, bro, Ben Carson was a medical doctor out here running housing, bro. Like, what are we talking about? Forget
is
what
he
you
alive? I ain't seen the nigga in a while.
His opinions and what you think about. That man's a doctor out here running housing. He ain't got no doctorate like, oh, I'm a doctorate in economics and stuff. That man's supposed to be a doctor out here running housing. What are we talking about? So, like, when you talk about, not you particularly, but when people talk about, oh, Biden foreign policy is this, Biden, what you say about him not being the smartest person in the room and realizing it is true, and I think that's important. But you got to know sometimes it's a real skill to go put somebody in the position who knows
in the position, right?
And that's the thing.
Yep.
It's important. And like the last thing, and I'm not going to stay on my like media. That's a big thing. Like we both in Chanel, we were communication majors in college. You look at, and Chanel was talking about how he wants people to talk about the cause of the protest as much as more than the protest, not as much more than the protest, which is right. I've found so much in talking to like young people and people in our age group and looking in like the lack of diversity in newsroom, bro. We don't have anybody to push our narrative. You know what I'm saying?
We don't.
Like, and I'm gonna go back and use the example we talked about the other day. In 2016, the Alton Sterling killing, the Alton Sterling police sanctioned murder, and then I think it was shortly thereafter. My time frame might be wrong, but shortly thereafter, the black man in Dallas who killed a whole bunch of police officers, which was terrible. The picture that was pushed out by the media was that dude in a dashiki. All right, like that man was a member of the United States military. You have a service picture, and there's always a service picture. My daddy was in the military way back when. That picture is always there. You could have easily had some people of color in the media room be like, yo, that ain't the picture. Because you put out that dashiki picture, you are already pushing to people who are scared of us, hate us, fearful, don't understand, uncultured, uneducated, that black heritage and black pride correlates with cop killing and hating white people. We make the fight, like, not saying we make the fight is harder because we ain't in enough rooms,
But you know what?
You gotta push that, bro.
But it's hard because, like Lowe said, for example, I'll give you this with the news stations. It's hard for us in those spots because I worked at the news station. Like, first of all, when we do have black directors, they not all the way for us. I know that firsthand, but I know for the fact that like news stations have certain things that they need. When they usually have their black person, they're good. They be good with their token. And it's hard to, like, for example, if news people hired the best talent, we would have more people in the rooms. But because, like, I know, like, I've seen girls walk into the room for the interview, but we didn't have the blonde. We ain't had a blonde at the station that we needed. So we hired her, Susie, because Susie was the blonde-haired girl we didn't have. Now, Rebecca, she did her thing. But we already got Kayla here. We already got Kayla. We don't need Rebecca. But Susie, we got a brunette, we got a black hair one. Oh, but we ain't got that blonde yet. And I think that's what is hard in the newsrooms. And then with us, like, it's usually, honest with you, it's usually, and I'm gonna get on us. In news, it's black men who be getting those news director jobs. So it got to be us who create these change. It's a look at, it's a look at that news station one. It is, but we gotta start hiring. And most news stations are owned by the same company. That's true. Corporation.
That's true. It's parent company.
It's a bunch of them owned by the same one. But we gotta start opening the doors for our people, man. Real talk, we do.
Well, not just opening the doors, I guess. And I see a couple people in here look like they have like news background experience. And Chuck Myron, Chelsea was a producer. All y'all have done television. Or a lot of y'all done television at some point. I don't know. I understand that it's difficult to get that push because I understand, like, they're like, okay, this is what sells. The white blonde girl will sell. This is how you view, people this, that, and the third. I don't know how to change that other than to put more numbers there.
But
And
you know what?
I know it's an uphill fight, and like I'm not.
But you saying that, Miles. Though now that I think about it, though, to be honest with you, where at this time with all this stuff going on, why hasn't BET formed a news spot? Like it could be, we should have BET News reporting in some of these places. Revolt News can be reporting in some of these places. Why haven't we? We need to adjust with the times. Like you're right, but we have some of these outlets and platforms. Why? My thing was, okay, let's get some of these BET News. Let's create this bitch. I'm sorry for the bitch, but let's create it and let's get some. Let's tell our stories.
I know to answer why, and I don't have a full answer, but I would imagine that some of that is, aside from the fact that BET says, you know, it's entertainment. It's ET. It's entertainment, and our entertainers, a lot of them, and they come out and they speak socially. So I'm not trying to. Please don't look at. I'm trying to get on our people like that. I'm not saying that we don't do our part, but like this is like this propensity towards the entertainment value where we don't put enough emphasis in on a, not just on the entertainment side, but like there has to be a giant push toward the stuff that matters. And like I know I'm the old guy in our group, Myron, but like but honestly, like, because I think you said like the Tokyo Jet, right? Someone said, what is a Tokyo Jet?
That's true too, Major.
I don't know what a Tokyo Jet is. I don't care. I ain't never heard of it. I ain't about to be bothered by it. I ain't knocking nobody who does, because I have the things that I care about in entertainment. But like, we put so much emphasis on those little things, and it's like, okay, we got to redirect our energy. Like, okay, we got these white people in the room. Not saying you change up, but look, not even for your own sake. Like, not even because you feel like your obligation to yourself. They need to know, because I found, and we all have racist white experience. I have very close white friends. Like when I was in school, my roommate came in. There was Muhammad Ali on one wall. Back when we used to buy posters in college, Muhammad Ali on the wall, Martin on the wall, Malcolm on the wall. Yo, we gonna talk about this every day. Every day, we gonna have this conversation. One of my guys, we talk about. I hit him up. I said, "Hey man, and I've known you since I was 6 years old, bro. Look, I know where you. I feel where you stand, but we need to have this conversation." That's it. And I know it's hard. I say, look, if you my man, we need to have this conversation. You my girl, we need to have this conversation. And if they can't have the conversation with you, then what they tell you? What they tell you? And look, they gonna ask. Chelsea's going through this with some of her coworkers. She went into work today, and like people were uncomfortable. They didn't know how to talk to her, and then someone just brought it up, and it was this whole bunch of questions. They asked them for books, they asked them for that, and like it's a little difficult for us because I never had to read a book on blackness. I'm black. Right. My parents are black. My church that I went to is black, and we get so much of our education from church and black churches and stuff like that. So it's making sure we can find things to direct them to, or like I said, you have to sit down and have real conversations with these people. Say, hey, bro, we're gonna have to have this conversation today, and we're gonna have to have it again tomorrow and the next day. It ain't no easy, quick thing. But that's it. I know I went on a tangent on you there. Like,
hey, no. It
right.
is. My live about to end, so I'm about to cut you off. But Miles, I appreciate you, though, dog. You was good, bro.
Sure.
You telling me to stand my ground, but wanna see me under, and at the same time telling us to keep it humble. If life is sweet, I guess you wanna see the cookie crumble.
I didn't mean it ended on me. I didn't mean that ended.
Be a hypocrite, cause blacks killing all blacks just as much as them. Yeah, we gotta love ourselves first, cause I refuse to see my little sister riding in the hearse. I tell you, look me in my eyes right now. I ain't asking no more. Tell me what you see. Tell me that I'm hated. No, I'm not appreciated in a nation that's supposed to be the home of the free. Please mention it.
I'm gonna let this verse run, and then we're gonna start again. I'm hungry though. It was. What's up, Samaji? I definitely wanted to add you. How are you doing?
What's up? I'm good. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad to have you. I called you when I was in Dallas, and I said, when I saw the protest going on, I say, Maji, where you at? And you say, I'm at home, and I say, oh, I'm surprised. Because normally you be one of the first people out, man. So just first of all, how are you just doing? How are you dealing and doing? I know this stuff as it does with a lot of people, but I know this stuff that's going on. It weighs really heavy on you when stuff like this happens. So just how are you personally doing dealing with like of what's going on right now in America?
It's funny because you're like one of 5 people at this point that have texted or called me and been like, "Say, nigga, you out of these protests? Like, you good? I know how you be, you."
Right. I had to call you to make sure you're all right.
And it's funny because I saw somebody sent me the tweet of the Daughters of the Confederacy building burning, and took me back to LSU 2015 when we had our protest of the Daughters of the Confederacy on campus. And it was like this feel good feeling of like, damn, something happened, even though it was all this time something happened. Ways I've been coping, I've been praying a lot, I've been crying a lot, I've been writing a lot. When I need to check out, I go watch Disney Plus. And just like you said, how you was watching Avatar, like I'll go watch Maleficent and just zone all the way out.
Because we need that though. Like,
we need it.
I don't think people know how important it is to just unplug from the shit that's going on.
It took me a good 3 days to even really like. Of course, I knew what was happening because I have ears, but it took me a good 3 days to really tap into it, just because it's so heavy. And when you're constantly consuming negativity, hate, violence, you have to wonder what that's doing to your psyche.
Right.
And how you as a person, and I know myself, I will become hateful and callous and vengeful. And that's not who I am by nature. That's not who God calls me to be. And so I had to watch what I ingested, honestly, if I'm being 1,000.
Right. It works, Malik. I don't have it plugged up. It's just for looks right now, the mic. So how do you feel about the Black community right now? Do you feel that this is a time where you see us coming together, or do you think we're still too divided right now during this time?
So I think here's the crux of the issue, right? At very base level, America, I was telling my mom this earlier, America has never paid retribution for its original sin of slavery.
Right.
Therefore, the hate and angst and racism that goes along with that has just been allowed to fester for years and years and years. And now America has a fever, and it's burning up.
It is.
And literally, America is burning. And I honestly, truly believe that we will see America burn further before we see anything get better, just because America's a system built on capitalism. And so for things to change, for there to be effective change, for the people who at the top to, excuse my French, to give a fuck about what's going on, we got to hit them where it hurts. And we see they don't care about our lives, human being to human being. And so it's going to have to affect them economically. When we look at history and we see things like the Boston Tea Party, it's called a party, but that was really a whole riot.
Right.
Where the Americans were upset and they hit the British where it hurt economically. And we even see shadows of, because just for a nerd moment, during the Boston Tea Party, Americans dressed up as Native Americans. And we also have seen white people dressing up and acting as if they're on our side and perpetuating things that we know they're not really about.
We seen some cops do it too.
But we've seen cops do it too. So they can point the finger later and say, oh, they're being violent. Oh, when in reality, those are moles placed there for a very specific reason, to instigate the violence that we're trying to, snuff out. Right. And so I think it's going to take us being extremely strategic. I think a large part of what the problem is that we don't have an agenda. We have wants, we have needs, we know we want things. But because Blackness is not a monolith and we don't exist on the same plane as each other, everybody wants different things.
That's true.
Me living in a metropolitan city in Dallas, I might want access to grocery stores and good infrastructure, whereas a Black farmer in Montana might want better agricultural deals, better agricultural trade deals.
That's a great point, Samaje. And so I don't think a lot of people think about that. That's a great point.
It's been hard for us to get on one accord since the Civil Rights Movement, since we've had a Dr. King or a Medgar Evers or a Malcolm X who could stand up and say, no, this is what we're doing. We don't have that right now. Right. And thus we've been divided. And I think what pains me the most is to see Black people getting on other Black people during this time when we're all just trying to figure it out.
That's true.
You may not agree with the looting, which I personally don't have a problem with it, because the KKK was burning down churches, stores, and houses for years. So let this shit burn as far as I'm concerned. But we see Black people getting on other Black people about the looting, or they're they don't mean it, or they're just out there for the clout. You don't know why that person is out there or how they're coping with the trauma that we've all been put through.
Right.
So before you point a finger, are you doing your part? How are you using your gifts and talents to push the movement forward? And I think when we start doing that more and less finger pointing, we'll get a lot further.
I think me personally, you know, I've been, you know, Alton Sterling was down here. I was at everything with Alton Sterling. And now I came back to Baton Rouge after the protest, and there's been another one since I've been back. But my mindset has been, okay, I've been of the mindset, like, we need the protesters, but I don't necessarily know if that needs to be my role anymore. For the fact that my mind is always thinking, even if I went to the protest, my mind would still go back to, okay, so what do I do next?
Then what?
So what's next? And and that to me is what I struggle with the most, and I'm sure a lot of people do as well, is what the hell can I do as far as change? I'm gonna vote. What can I learn to help change? Like that's to me what struggles, is I don't think a lot of us have a clear mindset of how it's gonna change.
What to do next? Right, because everybody can't be on the front line. Like, everybody can't be out protesting. That's not everybody's ministry. So everybody shouldn't do that, because truth be told, everybody not built like that, if we're being honest with you. And so you figure out, like, if you're good at organizing, if you're an organized motherfucker and you can, like, put some volunteers together, cool. You contact your local organizer and say, hey, how can I help? If you're adept at writing letters, you write letters to your council members or your state senators and mail them out in mass and help other people do the same. I think it's just going to take us being extremely creative, and it's going to take people being okay with not being the chief. Oftentimes in our movements, they don't go forward because there are too many chiefs and not enough Indians.
That's true.
Everybody wants to be the MLK. Everybody wants to be the Malcolm X. Everybody wants to be the leader until it's time to be the leader. Or they just don't want to take the back seat at all, and I think that's also
that's not an easy road.
That's not fun. It's not fun. We read the history books. That shit not cool. That's not fun in the moment. That's not fun. And so I say to the people who don't know what to do, figure out what you're good at, the very thing that you're good at for work or your passion, and figure out how to turn that into a way to help the movement push forward. Call me and we can help figure it out together. But there are so many things that are needed right now that we're not tapping into, and that we won't tap into until we figure out, like, what's our way forward.
Because again, like, partially this is my way of trying to figure shit out, or my way of me coming on live today is me, like, saying, like, okay, I have a little platform or whatever. Maybe some of these conversations are going to encourage somebody with what they're saying or wake up something. So this is me trying to use what I have to try to, and, you know, other ways. It's kind of just what I struggle with, kind of trying to figure out what exactly to do with these protests.
I think it's another thing that I think we need to do is learn the system in which we're playing. People always like, oh, the system is failing us. The system is failing. And the system is not failing. It's working exactly as intended, as it was never built for us in the first place. Like, it's working perfectly. But it's going to take us learning those systems. And how you said you're going to vote. Voting is great, and I implore everyone to do so. But then what? Like, vote and then hold that person accountable. Like, while you were campaigning, you said XYZ. Go to their office, send them emails, call them. Because the thing about politicians in America, we have this very skewed sense of, like, them being on this pedestal. Mm-hmm. When in reality, they work for you. Yep. They work for you. So hold their feet to the fire on the things that they said they were going to do. But that takes us knowing the things that they said and not just checking a box because somebody said that we should check that box. Right.
I think what Miles was saying was important, and kind of what you said too is just it's a battle on a bunch of different fronts, and I think I said this earlier. It's a voting battle on the multiple different fronts, because again, I remember those. I told Chanel this. I remember those little pamphlets we would get in the mail where it'd be like, vote for this judge, and those would just get put to the side. Like, did you go vote? No, I ain't going to that. But that's just as important as going to vote for who is your school board member.
Exactly. But then you mad when Lil Ray Ray got to go see that judge that you didn't vote for. Had you voted, maybe somebody would have been there.
Or when your schools are not getting the things that you necessarily need because you don't have the person.
Now you mad.
Who's going to back for you.
Now you mad.
So I think, but I want to ask you this question, because I got a couple different topics. Did you see the LL Cool J tweet?
I didn't. What did he say about the biracial?
Yes. How did you feel about it?
What did he say exactly?
I think I have it. I screenshotted it. I have opinions on it because we live in a cancellation culture where if somebody says something that we don't like, that we
It's a
instantly
wrap.
to cancel.
Wrap it up then.
Oh, dang, you can't even say it. But he says, imagine how people rate. He basically said, imagine how biracial children are feeling right now. And of course, he went to cancel culture. And I think to me, we live in a time where sometimes delivery is a bit wrong, but I think the intentions were good because I think of it of this nature that we do what happens, how is the biracial kid feeling who doesn't hang with them, who doesn't have any black friends? He's the only one with all the white kids. Or how is he feeling when he doesn't have a conversation or he doesn't see that conversation happen between his black baby white mom and black dad? So I do think it can be like thinking about it, because I have a brother who's married to a white woman. I thought about how would their kid feel like having these conversations with both of them, or is everybody on a united front? So I think people have been rushing to cancel a lot of different people.
So I think this is a two-part. Well, for me, it's gonna be a two-part answer. First of all, I believe that anybody with a platform has a responsibility to speak up for what they believe in during this time. I was having that conversation. It actually started a few weeks ago when we were watching the Last Dance with Jordan, and Republicans buy sneakers to that whole deal, and his lack of speaking up during the ceremony. Hold on. So I do think that y'all loud. You done? Tell Live Hey while you talking.
Hey, but yeah.
Well, I do believe that celebrities or people with platforms have responsibility to speak up, no matter what they believe. Say your truth and then stick behind it. Now, don't backpedal once you say it and we on your head. Say what you mean and mean what you say. To his point about biracial children, I think it's all on that person and how they identify. Mm-hmm. Because just because we can say the one drop rule applies, or if his daddy black, or if you got one drop, but if that's not his experience, I'm not even going to expect you to stand in solidarity with me. In fact, you're probably going to slow me down. So don't. Just go do what you're going to do, because I don't expect you to get, if you ain't never had to pick greens at your grandma's house, I don't expect you to understand, you know what I'm saying? I don't expect you to get it when I'm talking to you about it. And so I think that's what he was saying. Now, for that kid who is in that situation.
Lo said as a person who grew up in a mixed family, it's not just about what your family says, it's about what you experience. I agree with that.
Yeah, it's about your experience. You might not, well, maybe. I have blonde-haired, blue-eyed members of my family on my daddy's side. My great-grandfather is white. And so when we go and have family discussions, they know how Maji come in, because that's my experience. I grew up in Oak Cliff, Texas, in the hood. That's how I grew up. Now, it might be different for my cousins who grew up in rural North Carolina who didn't have that. But for me in my house, this is how we're coming. And this is because of, and I think that also, this goes to our blackness being a monolith thing when we talk about what black people want. We can say that, oh, you're not black because you didn't do this. But in reality, our culture was stripped and we've created a new black culture. We've decided what black culture is as black people. And so if somebody doesn't have that same experience, we can't expect them to stand with us because they don't identify with us.
I agree with that. I kind of want to go back to something you said, because again, I'm kind of mixed on this as well. When it comes to, you said everybody in position of has a platform should speak out, and I'm kind of in yeah and kind of in at the same time. I think some of the ones with prominent, I do think it matters what some of the prominent people do say, because when you don't say nothing, everybody is like,
I'm looking at you.
They looking for you. For example, I think Don Lemon called out Oprah and Tyler Perry and a few other people because y'all are of so high a stature.
And where you
at the same time, if they say something crazy, now we looking at them like, what the hell you didn't? You ain't have to say nothing. So it's kind of like a two-edged sword to me.
I think I expect people to speak out, because if you had bought a new Lambo, if you had just got a new platinum record, if your book made the New York Times seller, we will all know about it. I need you to be just as vocal about these things that are affecting the people who got you where you are. And I think that was my whole, when we go back to Jordan, I think that was my whole issue with Jordan, in that he was very silent when things were affecting the very populations that got him where he was. He didn't make that 149 million in the first year without niggas buying his shoes.
That's true.
That was us in line. But you didn't want to say nothing about the disproportionate impact of the people in North Carolina when they needed you. I have a problem with that. And so I think when we look, and I say that everybody has a responsibility too, because the Trap Boy Freddy audience or Yellow Beezy audience is different from Morris Chestnut audience. It's different from Sidney Poitier's audience. It's different from, you know what I'm saying? So we need everybody saying something, so everybody is getting the message.
And that to me goes with why I said earlier, your boy been quiet. I say I don't really even need my celebrities to be doing all this talking. But your boy been quiet, and some people, I don't know if Anthony's still here, ain't necessarily like when I said Kanye been quiet. But my thing is, number one, you want to run for president, so you need to be speaking on certain issues. And number two, if you were, I told Natalie this before my live. If Kanye had an album coming out in a week or two, he'll be all over our timeline.
We know it.
He'll be all over it. So he said, "Add me in." So I'm thinking, like, I agree with the fact that, like, it's certain people, like, your quietness says a lot.
Your silence is loud.
It says a lot. Now, some people have been saying some shit I really don't agree with.
But even still, now I know where you stand.
True. I think some delivery has been off. I think some intentions have been good, some bad delivery in certain cases. But again, you're right. I'd rather know my enemy than not know him. Like, it kind of goes into that. It kind of goes into that statement. Because I said my whole thing with Kanye, I was like, well, shit, Kim, he could have told Kim just put him on a statement. She made one. And she not black. She just a black mother. She just got black kids.
Don't start me on the Kim. I ain't never been a KKK Kardashian clan stan. Like,
but I do agree with that. Like, I'm split on it, but you're right in your standpoint of saying, like, I'd rather know than not know. Like, you being silent to me does say a lot, because sometimes, like in Jordan thing, it sounded like you was trying to protect yourself from keep your money flowing. Now he came and said something about today. He came and said, like, I think yesterday said something about George Floyd, but I saw a sports analyst say something today. He was like, Jordan came out and said the statement. He said, but Jordan's 57. He said, with 27-year-old Jordan had made the same statement.
He wouldn't have said that. That's why I have so much respect. I've had.
Who you talking about for LeBron?
Say it again.
Who you finna say for who?
No, for Michael Todd.
Okay.
Because I would hypercritical of. I love him as a minister, but I'm also hypercritical of him because I was following him before.
We know, because we was critical about that.
You know. And so when he did what he did on Sunday, I was very excited because he could have chosen to gloss over it. He could have chosen to act like it was another Sunday. But he was very transparent. He was human. And even with all of my multi-ethnic, multi-generational, as excited as much as I love Christ, I'm hurt right now because I'm a black man in America. I'm a black man in a country that doesn't love black men. And he could have lost hundreds of thousands of followers. He's somebody with millions on Twitter.
Right.
He's on the climb in his career. And for all intents and purposes, he could have absolutely pissed some of his clergy members off, his donors off, whomever. But he said what he said, and he stood 10 toes down when he said it. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate him for that.
I had saw a tweet that said, if your pastor don't change his message up and talk about what's going on
you might need to
find America, then you need to check your church. And I was like, that's totally honest. I didn't watch my home church message. I saw like a second, and the background looked like he was going into some deep shit. So hopefully he was doing what he needed to do. But yeah, I was glad. Like, this man took an old message and was like, "Yo,"
he was like, I'm tired right now.
And even, you know what's crazy? Even in the old message, he say, we might not need to put this one online.
And still ran it.
He still ran
and
it
still
because,
ran it.
because it was a needed conversation.
And it was
but,
real.
Yeah, but Maji, I don't want to hold you too long, man. I appreciate you coming on, giving your
Thank you for
wisdom. I
having me.
appreciate it. But I think what you said is so important about it. I just stuff I thought about, but I ain't never, put it into that context of like we all got the same mission, but we got to get the same agenda. We do. But it's hard, but like you said, because we're in different we're in different playing fields. You in Dallas, I'm in Baton Rouge. So what we need here is different than what you're gonna need. So I never even thought of it that way. So I was saying this the other day. I was saying this about the MPAC, the grad chapters in Baton Rouge. I asked, did they have an MPAC grad chapter board? And somebody I asked said no, and I was like, I don't know if it's right or not, but I was like, they probably should, because all those chapters should be on the same accord for things like this. Because Greeks should technically, what we were founded upon,
be mobilizing right now.
Be going at this. But I'm like, if we are not even on the same accord in our own city, as in the grad chapter arena, how are we gonna make the change or lead the change? And I think like we need leaders from our cities, and we need leaders from our cities to let's get together. Like I might have a leader in Louisiana, Lafayette, and that we can all be on the same accord. And then Texas might need to have a little coalition where they can get on the same accord and stuff of that nature. So, but I appreciate you joining.
Sure. Wait, can I say one more thing?
But appreciate you joining, Maji.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, last thing. To Christians who may be watching, it is okay to be upset. Don't let nobody tell you to just pray about it. It is okay to be upset. It's okay to be angry. Talk to God. Tell him about your anger. Tell him about your angst. Pray for peace. And then find ways to be a part of the change. If you need help ideating, please don't hesitate to reach out with me. I would love to help you figure it out. But don't let anybody tell you because you're a Christian that you just need to forgive and move on, because that's bullshit. Jesus flipped tables in the temple. Period.
Hey, mind you, bro, I think y'all need to do more of those, like real life versions. Yeah, real life versions. I appreciate it. Thank you, Maji.
Bye, y'all.
Yeah, what's up, dude?
What's up, bro?
Hey, bro. What's good, man?
What's up, man?
How you? First of all, before I get into the other shits, man, how I saw you on the news, bro. I saw you at the.
I'm not famous, man. Don't do that. I'm not famous, bro.
No, I'm just saying, how did you feel about the protests here in Baton Rouge? Because for the most part, ours was a lot different than what we saw around the country. It was a very peaceful protest. So how you felt about the action that happened in Baton Rouge the other day?
Man, I think it was definitely effective, bro. For people that didn't know, man, we had a protest in Baton Rouge yesterday, man. We had almost 1,000, 1,200 people out there, man. And like, I'm gonna give them their props, man. 4 high school students planned that protest. 4 high school students, no elected officials, no community organizers. 4 pure high school students, man, and like they did it. And that goes to show, man, like our generation, like the young people in Baton Rouge, man, like we taking the reins of what's going on, bro. I was having a conversation with Boo Milton, man, about an hour ago online, man. I was like, man, when you look on social media and we looking around what's going on right now, man, like you see number of young people at the forefront that's pissed off and ticked off about this, man. What year was Trayvon Martin? That was 2004.
Yeah, I don't want to lie to you.
2014, 2015. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong which year it was, but man, like that was about 6 years ago. How old you was in 2014, 2015?
Man, 20, 22, 20, 21, 22.
I ain't gonna give my age, but just know I was near high.
It was 2012, bro.
2012. So it's 8.
But you know what's crazy? I remember it because ironically we had a pool party. My chapter, we had a pool party called Oasis, and it was like at the end of the party, everybody was gone, but the TV was on, and we just all looked, and out of nowhere the verdict came.
It was a moment of time, bro. But
yeah, I think the verdict might have been 2014.
But like you say, man, we as black people, man, we got PTSD from that. We have PTSD to that very moment that was going on. Like I was telling Boo Milton, man, if that man is not found guilty, bruh.
Nah, bro.
The world would be in shambles.
I don't know who it was who said it on TV. It might have been Shannon Sharp. I don't want to get wrong, but man, it's bad. It's been people been cutting up now.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine what would happen if we get a non-guilty verdict. Like, and you know,
it's not going to be a time to be alive. I'm gonna tell you, it's not going to be a great day to be American. I'm gonna tell you that much.
And realistically, I think a lot of us have so much, anguish about the situation because we don't trust the legal system to do the job. They already was trying to lie on the goddamn autopsy report. So we truly trust that we're gonna get what we need?
Right.
So it's been difficult, man. But besides the Kanye shit, because we're gonna disagree on that.
Go ahead. No, you know what? Get that out the way. Please get out the way, because people, you ain't the only one, and you know what I'm saying.
You can't forget.
And I mean, I'm gonna tell people, man, I support Kanye as an artist, because you cannot deny that man artistry. I'm gonna go on a limb.
But I know, but I don't want to cut you off.
And before y'all try to come me in the comments, let me tell y'all come in the comments. I don't support that man political views at all. None bit. Cause let me tell y'all something. The same energy, and I'm gonna say out the same energy y'all use to cancel Ye. And let me tell you why. That's probably another reason why that man ain't gonna say nothing. That man probably already know he is lying in his casket. That man can say anything now. I think y'all would drag him.
I personally think he's not saying nothing because he doesn't have anything currently to promote. But man, I just listened to some of the old Kanye, bro, and it's just like some of the old Kanye would be going hard right now. But it's just like, man. Where did that switch?
It would.
Where did that switch? When did that happen, bro? Because I was listening to. I think I was listening to We Don't Care, and I was just like,
that was.
What about crack music, Kanye? Like what? It just totally.
It is a 180, man. But like I say, man, I tell people too, man. Like I said, everybody been accustomed to this before, man. We just like the term celebrity and everything now, bro. Like it's not gonna mean the same. It don't mean the same no more.
I saw you say that. Why you said that?
I feel like now all these people who are stands, everybody who's standing this person, that person, all these influencers, bro. Now you truly seeing people shallow like mindsets on stuff like that. Well, I ain't gonna say shallow, but I'm gonna say this: if I'm somebody PR right, my undergrad major PR right, as my publicist, if I know you don't have the range to talk about civil rights, I'm not about to let you throw yourself in that water. What I would do, I will find a Photoshop picture of George Floyd, put it on your page, put hashtag George Floyd, and go about your business.
But see,
do not pull a Desi Banks. Why would you put, my bad, why would you put,
you right?
And he pissed me off. Why would you put Bloody Sunday? This man put Bloody Sunday as the right way to do stuff in the bottom picture, looting and rioting. Not knowing.
Because he didn't know what the hell he was doing. Huh? And I think the problem that he had as well was like, you portray hood dudes all the time. So like now that you trying to say these dudes, these people that you sort of portray all the time is wrong. But that's how you kind of got popping. So I kind of got what he meant by that, man. But how do you feel? How do you feel about the difference of protesting, of the different protests that's going on, bro? Are you a violent protest, non-violent guy, or do you just do you think it's necessary for both?
I think it's necessary for both. Like I say, you have people who believe in Malcolm Way, aggressive way and stuff. Yeah, a lot of people who believe in MLK peaceful way to the goal. But like at the end of the day, like both Malcolm X and MLK overarching beliefs and overarching methods led to the same goal. Right. We can say that. But I would say the reason why MLK was more of the face, or more of the person that everybody just put on the forefront as far as like situation like this. I'm gonna go out on a limb, and this is my personal opinion. MLK's influence, Malcolm had a lot of influence, no doubt, but MLK influence being able to change people's hearts, not just change policy, not just change, this man changed hearts around the world, bro. And I tell people at the end of the day, if we want to protest and we're not in it to change people's hearts, we're fighting a losing battle.
You're right.
We fighting a losing battle because at the end of the day, we want to call out white people because they're not talking about it. But guess what? The reason why we want white people to talk about what's going on, because we want you to change your hearts and your methodology, what's going on in this nation. You can't be oblivious to the hate, the racism that you might have underlying in your heart at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, we got to change policy. We got to reform police. And that's high up there on the agenda. But at the end of the day, bro, we can't do all that without changing people's hearts, bro. And that's why people have to see this unrest of what's going on. Like we got to burn down the house down for people to understand what the hell we want, and that's what's going on. And I tell people right now, you know, a lot of people criticizing people on Seeger Lane protesting. This is my take. There is no right or wrong way to protest. There are different lanes to protest. Like the protest we did yesterday, that was the most peaceful protest. We ain't had no police and riot gear out there. We had police, you know what I'm saying? They had police in the area, but we ain't had nobody out there trying to, like, you know what I'm saying, bone rush nobody. Because, like I say, you have people that in activism and stuff like this, you have people who are the policymakers. You have the people who are the aggressors. But guess what? Each and every person plays a vital role to the common goal we need to do. But at the end of the day,
that's true, bro.
We have to make sure. What's that, bro?
No, I'm saying that's true, and I think, like, again, just from the conversation, one of the big things that I've got, and I've been saying this myself, but you know, it's just been repeated. It's like it's multiple fronts, like, and I think sometimes the protesters need to know that part too, because sometimes people can look at people protesting and be like, man, so why you not out here with me? Mm-hmm. But it's different battles for everybody, and I saw somebody post something today that was just like, man, don't feel bad if you don't go protest or you're not saying anything. You know, sometimes it's not, you can make an impact in different ways. And I think people got to be open to both sides. Like, y'all, It's cool for y'all to protest, but it's cool for you not to protest. You might be doing something in another arena, or you might be donating money or stuff like that. What and that kind of goes to what I'm gonna say next, bro. What do you think is what idea is your next plan? What do you think is the next plan of action? I know they said the people out there at the protest Sunday had like legit action plan. That other place, I don't know how many other places had those, but what do you see happening next? Because that's always my mindset. Like, okay, even if I went to the protest, what can I do next, or what's the next thing to happen for us to actually finally see change?
So, just like they said, the protest, man, they gave demands. One of the demands is reforming the Civil Service Board for police officers here in Baton Rouge. That is the board that, you know, if a police officer get fired today or tomorrow, that Civil Service Board is almost like the last governing body that could bring you back on and get your job. So, you know, you have other states that has reformed a Civil Service Board to where that, you know, if you commit a crime like this guy killed George Floyd, you're not coming back, no matter what the board says. So, it's just being informed and just knowing like the strengths and weaknesses of your community at the end of the day. A lot of people forget we have a black police chief that is visible in Baton Rouge. He be at events. He speaks out. Matter of fact, he pushed for, after Mayor Sherry Riston Broom added him on to the force as a police chief, he pushed for the killers of Alton Sterling to be fired because they did not want to fire that man. And he said on national TV, he is not rehiring them men no matter what. So we have to remember that, you know, we had our episode on George Floyd. We had Alton Sterling. We had the protests. We cut down, we blocked off Airline Highway. We had 2 police officers that got ambushed. And then we had the Great Flood. So we have to know, man, like Baton Rouge, I'm going to listen. Baton Rouge has made progress since then, but we still have a long way to go. And we don't want to, oh Lord, that's a motion light. But hold up. Turn the light back on. My bad. And we can't forget, man, here in Baton Rouge, man, like we have people that's not, it might not be putting on social media, they might not be having it like all over everywhere, but they're working. They working, man. And like I said, we have a mayor, she's great. John Bear Edwards, he's great within himself, and we have a black police chief that's great. There's not too many states that have that 3 in a row. You know what I'm saying? So now, you know, we can protest, we can tear down Seeking Lane, we can go loot, we can go do all that, but at the end of the day, if we don't have no plan in place for the after effect, it's just a bunch of noise, man. And I like the noise. I like them going out there with Seeking Lane. I'm not saying it's wrong, but at the end of the day, we have to strategize and mobilize to what's going on.
And I think the bigger thing is, man, getting educated too, and just voting, getting educated, and just kind of seeing a follow through, man. When you hit the baseball, you don't just hit it and stop. You keep swinging and follow through with the swing. So we gotta see the follow through. I don't want to see next week that we all good and dandy and everything's going back to normal. We still need to have the conversations. Maybe it's we do another walk or something. Maybe it's a weekly thing or once a month thing that it happens, or a conversation is happening different. When we're allowed to go back outside, maybe it's different panels that happen that we can just keep the conversation going versus it's the hot topic this week and then next week it's back to how it was.
Exactly, and that's why my biggest thing, man. I tell a lot of people, man, use your platform to what's going on. Like, not everybody gonna be the protesters. Not everybody, like the young lady said before me. Not everybody gonna be the chiefs. Somebody got to be the Indians, but we all bring something to the table. Just because you're not the one in the news, just because you're not the one that's community organized, you're not a strategist, man. Like, you got Candace Perilou, she printing source. We do a protest or something, we can go to her black-owned business and get some T-shirts printed. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's just knowing the strengths and weaknesses of your community and using that to your advantage. You have a lot of clout chasers. You do. You have a lot of people just want to throw the ops. You have a lot of people who just want to be the MLK, but don't want to die or die in the moment or be out there like right now in front of riot gear and MLK. Everybody not built like that. Like she said, everybody's not built like that. And a lot of people, I tell people, a lot of people right now, like, you know, unplug if you need to. Don't unplug so much you're oblivious to what's going on in the world. We all got our limits. I understand that. I have limits. You know what I'm saying? You know, I've been in the streets. You know, I do. You know, I've been involved in the community. But we all have our limits to what's going on. But this is an impending issue that regardless you unplug, it's not going away no time soon.
And I think I don't want to cut you off, but I just going on what you said. I think we also have to do a better job of the people who are leaders or the groups that are leaders in the community have to do a better job of being at the forefront of these things. Like, as great as it is for the four high school students that have planned this, why wasn't my thing is I'm Alpha. Why Alpha should have been at the front of some of this, aka Delta, like Sigma, like we should have been at the front of these. We have councilmen, we have school board members, like these people should have been, you know, on the front of some of these parts. And I think that we gotta do better in that as well.
And like I said, I totally agree with that, man. But I think, you know, sometimes it just comes with leadership, and sometimes, you know, those four high school students, man, they took the initiative and did it, man. They went ahead and did it without thinking, and sometimes that be the most heroic moments a leader can have when you just do it off the heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, no motives, no thinking it, like just did it. So you know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure some local community leaders would have did it, but it's just it speaks volume that four high school students did it.
The reason I also say that though is because we gotta have a different, and maybe this is also some of these organizations having younger members as well. But I had a group conversation with some people, and some older people were kind of like, man, like we didn't even know about this. Like we would have wanted to know, so we could have been out there. And I think that's kind of where our disconnect is. I think we need to have like a good, like, even though it was for high school students, which is still great, I wish it would have been like a connection between like a gap bridging thing where everybody could have came together versus just one part of our population versus the ones who couldn't actually get the information or didn't hear the information until it was too late.
Yeah, of course. Like, you know, you're definitely correct, man. But like I said, man, there are follow-up events I know for sure coming up, man. So like I said, I'll definitely pass that along. I know a couple of people organizing right now, man. But like you're correct. Like you're definitely correct, man. That's another thing. We just gotta better communicate those type of things to all media. But
definitely, man, I appreciate you joining the live, bro, man. I was looking for you, man. You know how to mess with your LaKanye ass.
Hey, man, no problem, man. Keep doing your thing, bro.
Already, bro. Appreciate you.
No problem.
Man, so, you know, at the end of the day, man, you know, we've had a good show today. It's not the normal show, but we had a good show, man. This is Single AF, the dating show. For those who have never seen this, usually on Monday we drop Green Horse, but we took a different route this week. We'll get back to next week episode is What Do Men Really Want, man. So, you know, come back on next Monday. Hopefully things are, you know, I don't think things are going to get better. But we're going to try to get back to, you know, normal programming next week. But I feel like this was necessary to have these conversations. I learned stuff. I hope you were impacted because this is kind of my way of spreading the wealth and spreading the knowledge from people I think who are knowledgeable in these areas. So I hope you were impacted, man. You know, this show was sponsored by Mark Goods, man. They the best glasses in the world, man. Get them on Amazon. Mark Goods, Unbreakable Glasses. Man, I'm glad I had this conversation. I told Natalie, I said, I don't even know if I want to do this live today. Like, I don't know if I feel like talking about it. I'm sure some crazy stuff have happened since we were on here. I'm sure some craziness has happened since we've been on here. But, you know, sometimes it's good to talk about stuff. It's good to get some. It's good. I think it's good to have conversations because you need to you need to like let some stuff out and get your mind out, and you know, get your thoughts out, man. It's a lot that's on our minds these days, man. So, man, I'm just, you know, I'm glad we were able to have this conversation, man. I knew when this stuff started happening, I was like, I can't do a show about, you know, dating and what men niggas want, and I don't really like. Who cares about that when people dying right now? So I'm glad we got to do this, man. I didn't think that many people was gonna watch this week, but we had a good bit of people that watched. I'm gonna put this on YouTube and SoundCloud. I think I can put this one up